Hello, welcome back to Save Your Bacon, an advice comedy podcast where we think we're helping. My name is Will.
And my name is Zane, and just to show you how much we care, we have paper master degrees in therapy taped loosely to our walls and a little stapled now, so we can show you that we're both professional and self-sufficient.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, Zane, how's your mouth?
My mouth is still lacking teeth, but I can talk a little bit clearer now, so obviously that's a perk. And speaking of talking a little bit clearer, let me just clear the air with a little bit of a question that we can't dive into, but I wanted to bring up.
Yeah, I love these. Let's do it.
The question came from Reddit user Patrick Egg, and it is, why does Taco Bell always forget the cinnamon twists? Just got Taco Bell pretty pissed off, was looking forward to them. Now, do you remember this story, Will, of a time that you, me, and a couple other boys were in the car, and we went to Taco Bell, and we ordered cinnamon twists, and he said, like, 4 cinnamon twists, and they just didn't hear him, and then he kept changing how many the cinnamon twist number was to them, and then we got, like, 25 cinnamon twists, because they didn't know that they were all, like, just the same order of cinnamon twists.
So you're saying that we ordered, like, we said, we come up, we roll up, and they say, welcome to Taco Bell. And they say, we'd like 4 cinnamon twists. Okay, 4 cinnamon twists. Oh, no, actually 5 cinnamon twists.
Yeah.
Okay, 5 more cinnamon twists.
And then we kept going back and forth because we were like,
3 cinnamon twists.
Yeah, 4
or
5.
12 cinnamon twists. You got it. Yeah, and we got up to like 25 cinnamon twists. Why? Okay, who paid?
Alex,
yeah. Our buddy from high school, Alex, paid and just didn't register the fact that he paid $25 for assumedly 4 orders of cinnamon twists. Yeah, I have a question for us. This one comes from Sammy Anderson. Thank you, Sammy.
Thank you.
She says, hello. First of all, thank you for being my Monday morning buddies.
Aww.
Also my Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday buddies when I'm not caught up. I have an inquiry. In the morning, I drink chocolate caramel brownie coffee, and it feels like a warm hug. I love this time together in the morning, just the coffee and I want to know, what other ways can I experience this kind of warm love in the morning? Zane, are there any foods in the morning for you that make you feel warm and loved by their embrace down your esophagus?
I want to say something that's not just stupid, because my real answer is just stupid.
What's your real answer?
The first thing that comes to mind that gives me a warm hug in the morning is when I can wake up and the first thing I'm allowed to do is make a Digiorno pizza for myself.
I know, that's the truth, isn't it?
You gotta know the facts first. I'm lactose intolerant.
So it's an initial warm hug that stabs you in the back by the end.
It's a toxic relationship that I'm okay with.
Yeah, I love the idea of waking up, putting on a robe, it's cold, your feet are cold, you put on some slippers, but you're still not getting it. You're still not there on feeling the morning love.
I feel the hands, but I don't feel the hug.
Yeah, you open the freezer, and there is Mr. Tombstone, Supreme Pizza, just waiting for the oven.
Yeah, okay, can I just say something really quick?
Yeah.
You said Tombstone? Fuck that. Digiorno.
Because you don't like Tombstone?
Hey, I'm okay with all kinds of pizzas. The one that makes me feel good about myself is Digiorno.
Okay, that's true. It's like saying that you would want to wake up next to just old anybody, and that's not the case. It has to be the one person.
I'll feel okay
the person is
waking
DiGiorno.
up to just old anybody.
I would be okay waking up to just old Digiorno, and that's it.
I wake up in the morning, I got my hand wrapped around a Tombstone pizza. I'm going to say big, I'm going to go take a shower real quick. But if I got my hands wrapped around a Digiorno, I'm going to say, babe, I could just lay here all day long.
Yeah, you're my fun. Yeah.
You're
making
my
my
fun.
day. Okay, so other things that can make you feel this kind of warm love in your morning time. Let's say you're out of your, chocolate caramel brownie coffee, which, by the way, sounds super good.
It does. And I don't even drink coffee.
How do you feel about Pop-Tarts?
Oh, dude, I love Pop-Tarts.
You love Pop-Tarts? I hate them, but I'm glad you like them.
Why did you bring them up just to say you hate them?
No, I don't. Okay, but I think that this is something where when I was a kid, I would a lot of times for my lunches put like just Pop-Tarts while they're still in the bag in my lunch, and when I was really lazy in the mornings and didn't want to make like a sandwich or something, and so I always had them just cold.
Yeah.
So when I actually got to have a warm, toasted Pop-Tart, I felt like it was a delicacy. And for that reason, I feel like it is my morning version of a warm hug.
Or a Digiorno pizza.
Or Digiorno, my morning version of a Digiorno pizza. I think we're not talking about warm hugs anymore. It's all just in relation to the Digiorno pizza, since that is our answer for what is the best thing to wake up to.
Obviously, that's the highest quality of answer you could have ever expected or received. Because
yeah, I hope one day when I'm married, I get to wake up and for like my birthday or something, or for like husband's day or whatever. Because I'm not gonna go as far as to Father's Day. That I'm just gonna be woken up to like her just whispering in my ear like, "Pizza's here," like DiGiorno's ready.
Pizza time.
Pizza time. Hey, it's pizza time. Hey, wake up, darling dear, it's pizza time.
one of these days, I'm going to be having the time of my life with the love of my life. We're gonna be in the spot of our first date. Where everything went perfectly fine. I'm gonna say, babe, I've loved you all these years, and I can't wait to love you more. I'm gonna get down on bended knee, and I'm gonna look my love directly in the eyes. I'm gonna say, would you do me the honors? And she'll be so speechless she won't say anything or move. And then I'll put the thing on her, and what it is a topping because she's a Digiorno pizza.
Yeah, I like that. That's colorful storytelling. Yeah, I think I'm gonna know that she's the one when we're on our first date, and like we're kind of dressed up, and it's a really nice place, and the dude is like carrying like a little white towel on one arm while he's serving us, which kind of means it's a really fancy place, I'm pretty sure. And she's just gonna be like, "Hey, do you want to like get out of here?" And I'm like, "Oh, what do you mean?" And she's gonna be like, "It's pizza time." I'd be like, that's when I know she's the one. It's like a warm hug, and that's when I know I'm gonna get those good mornings every day for the rest of my life.
She's gonna say, "Hey, do you want to get out of here?" And I'm gonna say, "Oh, what did you have in mind?" And she's gonna say, "Oh, sorry, I meant, do you want to get me out of here? I've been in the oven for like 18 to 21 minutes. I'm a pizza.
Don't want me to burn.
I'm ready."
I am a Digiorno pizza. Sammy, I hope that helps. I think it probably helped.
I know it did.
Do you have any questions for us?
I do. This question comes from username God Bless Our Nuggets.
Yeah.
The question is, if I grabbed a shovel and started digging, how long would it take me to get to the other side of the earth? And if I just kept digging, would I end up coming out the other side upside down? Or would I somehow flip and emerge head first? Also, would I accidentally cut the earth in half?
I have a hunch. I've heard this question before.
It's just
somewhere.
It's
somehow.
A familiar question.
It's a familiar question, but I'm glad to help because this is an important question for all the teens out there who are still wondering if they could get out of the house or out of their room in the basement by digging real far down. You're gonna die, and that's a really and I gotta be honest. I'm just trying to help, so I don't want to sugarcoat it because lives are at hand here. Yeah, you are going to die, and that's not of exhaustion. It's just out of the idea that I've thought about this long and hard in my days, in my whole 23 years, and I've come to the conclusion that you're going to dig and dig and dig, and it's going to take many years, and you might be old by the time you get to the center. But when you get to that center, we really don't have a good idea, or at least scientists don't have a good idea of what's going to happen when you get to the middle. I'll tell you what's going to happen, because I know, and that's why you called in. I think that when you get to the very center, gravity is going to pull you in every direction, and you're just going to splat against the walls of whatever you were in. You're not going to die of heat. You're not going to die of exhaustion. That's whatever. When you
You're
get
not even going to die of old age, apparently.
I mean, you can walk around the world in, what, a year? How far will get? It won't take that long to get to the center.
Yeah.
And so when you get there, you're going to splat like a bug in a kitchen.
You know what? Maybe the center of the Earth's like a hotel, and they're like, "Hi, welcome to the center of the universe inn. You just book a night. It's only $100. It's an easy deal, and you can go wherever you want afterwards." And you know what? When you walk around the outside park area, all of a sudden your feet are on the center of the Earth, And then no matter where you go from that point, everything is up. So now you start digging up. But one thing that I was really curious about with this question was, would you accidentally cut the Earth in half if you made a line all the way from one side of the Earth to the other side of the Earth? Would it just start to break, like a little apple being pulled apart, or like my little heart when the Titanic sank with Billy Zane on it?
Yeah, I mean, if I've learned anything from how math and physics and all that really all ties together, I think if you cut a line through the Earth, you'd probably cut it in half. I did look up. I looked up how deep have we dug in the Earth just as a human race ever, and the answer is 5.9 miles, which is pretty good. To get to the center of the Earth is 3,959 miles, which means that we're like almost 0.2% to the way there, which I think is an optimistic way of saying you will beat the world record in no time if you're really trying hard.
Can I just say that for some reason, that number to get to the center of the Earth is way lower than I expected it
really
to be.
Not that bad, huh?
And honestly, worth trying. Yeah, honestly, that doesn't sound like that's hard to accomplish.
I think we ought to give up our luxurious careers in podcasting in order to get into the digging business.
Yeah, I've run a 5K before. I can get to that 5 mile mark easy.
Yeah, those are the exact... Yep. Yeah. I should just let that slide a little easier. The red flags went off, and I was like, hold the phone. But, yeah, absolutely.
I got a very important follow-up question.
Yeah.
How long, from how far we've dug so far, would it take for the center of the Earth to cook my Digiorno pizza?
Oh, okay. How deep would you have to dig in order to get to the perfect 375 degrees that you need to cook the Digiorno pizza? Is that what you're asking?
400.
Would you like another question from me?
I really would.
Okay, I'll say like a real person this time. This one comes from Annie Wagner. Annie Wagner, thank you.
Thank you.
Question for the podcast. I really want a black eye, because I've never had one before, and I think it would look so cool. However, no one wants to punch me, because I'm a girl, and they don't want to hurt me. How can I convince one of my friends to give me a black eye?
First thing I thought of was a Rube Goldberg machine.
What?
You know those machines that it's like when the dominoes fall and then it like turns on the fan and the fan blows a balloon across the room and that knocks like the toy over and it starts like the chain of events thing.
So then it doesn't feel like you're actually punching yourself in the face.
Hey, no, we haven't gotten there yet. You tie your roommate up to the beginning of the Rube Goldberg machine.
Oh.
With their fist on, like with their fist out extended, you know, like the same way that you get your, like if you're gonna prank your roommate and you put their hand in like a cup of warm water, you get their hand out but you rubber band it shut into a fist and then you tie it up and then all of a sudden you start the Rube Goldberg machine and they're being dragged but their fist is extended and at the end your face. Yeah. And now their fist goes right into your face. You get exactly what you want, but they don't have the guilt of having done it on purpose.
Hey, Lauren, I have a really fun new contraption I've been trying out, but I just need one person to help me out with it. Oh, yeah, sure, what is it? And it's like, I just need you to walk into my bedroom. Annie, we haven't seen you in 8 days. You've been holed up in your bedroom for a really long time. Yeah, it's right in here. Just come on in. Why are the lights off, Annie? I don't know. Just, I'm going to tie your wrist, and then you're just going to stay put. And you can sit in this chair, and I'm just going to strap seatbelt in. Okay, good. And the lights turn on, and you see these like crazy-looking electrical, you know, circuits, like the glow balls where you touch them, and like the electricity like comes to your fingertips and things like that. There's like 6 of those in here, and then you just hear her flip a switch, and there's some like little chimey music in the background, and she's just sitting there giddy, clapping her hands in joy, sitting right next to you. And Tiffany, you cannot feel your arm; it seizes up. And within the 6 minutes that the marbles and the matches and the you know strings getting cut and the race cars going across the room, after all that files out, you punch her in the face and you feel like garbage, but not as bad as you would have if you actually just punched her.
You were just pulled into it. That's the whole.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault. And she goes up to you afterwards, black eye, and she says, "It's not your fault."
I mean, do I even have to say how, like, if they feel really bad about having literally been dragged into this mess, you know how to fix this, right? You know how to make it all better, right? I don't even have to say it. You know how to fix it?
Yeah. What?
You at the end of your contraption, while you're hitting somebody in the face, you have the other hand slightly tilt the oven's heat on to like a nice 400 degrees.
Oh my gosh. 375. Is every question going to have a Digiorno? And at the end, Annie will give you the pizza as a return of investment for you punching her in the face. Okay, I have another idea about how you can make this happen. I think that this one's a little bit simpler. You can go up to a friend and say, hey, I want to try something out. Let's see if we can, like, like knuckle bump, but without looking. And they go, okay, sweet. Okay. And so I want you to just hold out your fist just straight forward. And they do that, and they close their eyes. And I said, okay, now I'm going to try to hit yours. And you just run your face into their fist. Full force. You back up like 30 feet, get a good sprint right into your eye socket.
And you know what? If you really enjoy the rush, like, because you said you've never had one, you really want one. If you really like it, just keep their eyes closed and just be like, oh, dang, I missed. Let me try again. And then just do it again. It could be the same eye. It could be a different eye. If you want to, like, get one of your friends and be like, you got to try this, you could have them run up and do it. It's a great experiment. Again, nobody knows that they're involved in beating up a woman. They're just helping you. they're just helping you get what you want.
Yeah. See, the nice thing about it being a friend is that it won't be like you have to do this while you're single, Annie, and that's the other thing I want to say. Otherwise, you're going to get some domestic abuse questions when you, if you're married at some point in your life. If you're married already, game over. Sorry, you can't do this. It'd be a mean thing to do on your husband because you could ask your husband to do this for you if you've never had a black eye, but then it might unlock some inner rage in him, and we don't want that happening either.
Right. Yeah. Also, it might unlock some inner rage in you, and he might not like that.
Ooh. Well, I mean, like, you're saying just her getting a black eye in general might unlock some hidden rage?
Oh my god, are you in an abusive relationship? Yeah, he won't hit me as much as I'd like him to.
Oh, gosh. He just will not continue to hit me. What's wrong with him? Yeah, this might unlock something in Annie as well, and maybe that's it. Annie might be an incredible pacifist, someone who does not like voicing their opinion, who kind of goes with the flow, kind of easygoing, and getting punched in the face might just give her the anger that she needs in order to assert herself in different social situations. Business opportunities might open up for her. This might be a really good thing overall. And so, to be completely honest, Annie has asked me at least a half a dozen times in the last couple months whether I would punch her in the face. And now I'm starting to consider it. Your turn, Zane. Give us a question.
All right, you got it. This question comes from Reddit user, I'm at work, so shh. And the question is, do you jump higher at night? You know, moon's gravity and whatnot.
Okay, you know how werewolves only come out during the full moons? That's because the moon is just pulling on the hairs in their skin, all the wolf hairs, inside them to make them as hairy as they are, which makes them into werewolves. It's really just the gravity of the moon pulling on their follicles.
You're saying a werewolf is, so we've all got just a bunch of wolf hairs inside our bodies, and the second we're just like, hey, where are all of our wolf hairs? The moon starts tugging them out of our bodies, and werewolves are just specimens in which we have discovered where all the wolf hairs are, and that's why they're called werewolves.
Yeah, once every fortnight, once every moon cycle, the moon responds to us as we cry out each day. Every morning, every night, we cry, "Where are my wolf hairs?" And once every 30 days or so, the moon responds and gives us those wolf hairs, and we are able to transform. Yeah, that's where they come from. That's always what I've heard. That's always the folklore that has been taught in my household, and I will pass on to my children.
That's the fable you've heard. What about, like, do you jump higher, though? I mean, a werewolf probably jumps higher, right?
I mean, that's definitely where we got the idea of moon shoes in general, right? The gravity of the moon pulling us making us jump higher, and then they're like, want to know how to make that all the time.
There's no other
Rubber
explanation
bands and
for
plastic
moon shoes.
circles. Yeah. No, I mean, they just wanted to take the idea of the moon pulling on us, making us jump higher, into something that could be recreated for kids, 30 days out of the month instead of just one night.
I think there's a very important message that I lived by as a kid that applies now, and that's if science has taught me anything, it's that if the sun is out, then it can see you, and so when the sun's gone, it can't. That's pretty self-explanatory, right? So I lived by a motto: dance like nobody's watching. So when the sun's not out, nobody's watching. So that's your chance to throw on your moon shoes and tug on your wolf hairs and start jumping like no one's watching. I do have to warn you, though. Make sure that you have a nice, good, tall building in front of you so that when you jump and you start to come down, you have a building to land on. Because otherwise you're going to leave a crater in the ground and it's going to be a whole mess of a thing. Because anybody else that's had their wolf hairs pulled out is going to know exactly what was going on. And they're going to know, man, we got another one in the books trying to learn how to control his wolf heritage.
Yeah, Zane, when you have kids, are you going to have the wolf hairs removed?
A wolfectomy, you say?
A wolfectomy?
I think... Is it
just to prevent the the wolf occurrences on these monthly times for kids? That can just be such a bummer to kids to know that either they can't be a werewolf the other 29 days of the month, or that they have to be a werewolf one night a month.
See that,
and I just don't want my kids to live through that.
I have the worst response right now. See, if I have a little girl, and she starts getting her period, and I say, well, it's because of the moon cycle that you're on and whatnot. And then she's gonna be like, wait, Dad, I thought you said I had the wolf from inside me removed. And I'm gonna say, oh, I'm sorry, honey, I can't do everything. And then we're gonna have a really bad family problem.
I'm just one man, Eleanor.
Unless a full moon's
I'm just
out,
one
then I'm
man.
a wolf.
And I'm also a wolf. But it still isn't enough. We didn't want the same tragic end for you as for us. How many of us have we lost to the moon? There's
an old nursery rhyme that I think helps you keep in mind when and when you cannot jump higher, and it's, if the moon is out, then jump about. But if the moon is gone, your jumping might also be gone.
Yeah, that was actually like a cult classic in my nursery school. The one that we always went by, that maybe this was an original, but it more or less went, jump like the sun isn't judging you from afar, and continue jumping in the sun even if it won't be as far. And that one was kind of a bummer, honestly. Maybe I think that was an original. Hey Zane, do you want a question?
Boy, do
too
I.
Slow. All right.
Oh, come on. I tried.
Middle Stuff is brought to you by, let's see, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Those are all the different places you can find us. And I know you already found us because you're listening to us right now. But in case you didn't know about the other places you could find us, those are the places you can find us. And the cool thing about all those different places is that they all have different ways that you can interact with us. So it's really confusing when we talk about all the different ways you can do it. Like, you can subscribe on one, and you can follow on another, and you can rate and review on one, and you can just download on us a couple others. But they're all really good for different things. Like, for instance, YouTube, we actually segment all the questions. So if you like one question specific and want to show it to a friend in order to get them into the podcast in the first place because you thought one question was really funny, you could always send them just that video, and they could listen to, like, some 4-minute clip of us talking that they're like, wow, that's really cool, I'm going to start listening now. That's an awesome way to share this. But yeah, we would love if you just interact with us in those ways. Rating, reviews, and downloads always help us understand what our like our listener base is wanting from us and enjoying, and how they're interacting with us. So yeah, Zane, go ahead.
The rates and reviews help so much more than you know, honestly, because it actually helps the show get out there a lot more, and it helps everybody that hasn't heard or seen of the show. I love that I just said seen, as if you could see a podcast. Anybody that hasn't heard of the show, that's how they get to know that everyone that's listening actually loves it. If you want to be a part of the podcast, because the entire show is based around things that you guys send in, you guys tell us and everything, you can email us your questions at saveyourbaconpodcast@gmail.com. That's saveyourbaconpodcast@gmail.com. Easiest way for sure to get questions to us. You can also use for sure, dude. You could also send us through Twitter and Instagram. You could send us DMs at Zane and Will. It's the same Twitter username and Instagram username. It's Zane and Will. You could use the hashtag SaveYourBacon or hashtag Zane and Will on social media so we can find you quicker and easier. But again, email is easily the best way to get questions to us. And just keep sending things in, keep sharing it with your friends, keep just letting us know what we're doing right and wrong, because every single little thing helps, because word of mouth is how every piece of this show gets shared and grows.
Hey, Zane, on that note, should I give us a question?
Please.
I already gave us our middle stuff, so I can't tell you no. This one comes from Sammy Anderson. Another one from Sammy Anderson. Thank you so much, Sammy. Sammy asks, I was working at Target the other day and noticed that my boss was acting weird and saying odd things. I went home later and Googled the things that he was saying and doing. Turns out he has a demon inside himself, and I'm wondering, how do I get this demon out of him so that he can live a happy life? See, this is another positive, wholesome question that just really is done out of the care for another human. But do you have any initial statements on the idea of how to remove a demon from a coworker boss sort of situation?
I was always told, do you remember hearing that if you sneeze, it's supposedly a demon leaving your body, and so the reason we say bless you is so that it can't get back in?
I know that is the archaic reason for they actually thought that back then, but now we just do it as part of tradition, which is why I fight against it and look at people and say, you don't got it. You're fine.
Because you know when someone has a demon in them just by looking at them.
Yeah, I switched from regular jobs to podcasting because I got kicked out for looking at people and telling them they didn't have demons in them when they sneezed. It was just rude, I guess. No, I've heard that. I also know that, like, maybe this is the case. Maybe the tradition is not just a tradition, and maybe it is the truth that sneezing does just get all the little baby demons inside of you, and the big boys is what we're talking about.
Yeah, for the little baby demons, you could just like shove a whole thing of pepper up someone's nose, start a sneezing fit.
Just a whole black pepper.
And then, yes, just whole...
stick one big whole black
pepper right up the nose. They start sneezing because it's too big, and you just start going, bless you, bless you, bless you, bless you, bless you. Just keep...
Yeah, like you're murdering the baby spirits as they come out. Maybe that's like, it's like a little, like a burial service for the baby spirits,
Aww.
and that's why you say bless you. Like, you're like, I'm glad the spirit's gone, but I just want to commemorate the child spirit that left your body. Okay, also, Zane, did you know that I've actually driven out a spirit?
What?
Yeah, in a non ironic way, I have literally drove out a spirit.
Okay, good.
The story goes, because that would be terrible to just say and leave. There was a girl in one of my classes 2 years ago at university, and she was talking about all these weird things that was happening in her house. There was cold spots and doors slamming, and she was the only one who was witnessing these things. And she would hear voices, and weird things would happen, lights would flicker, that sort of stuff, and her roommates would never notice it. And she didn't really know her roommates that well. And so she was like, guys, there's literally something going on in the house. And they're like, no, you're crazy. And it's like, whoa, what a demon thing to do, to drive these roommates like away from each other. I'm like, there is definitely like, I believe ghosts and demons are kind of the same thing in a realistic way. And I was like, I'm gonna, call me a Ghostbuster. I'm gonna get in that house. I don't know you, but invite me over.
I'm gonna be going ghost on your house. Can I go ghost real quick in here?
Yeah. Can I go? Yeah. So I went over. I wasn't happy with the joke I was about to make. So I went to her house and definitely like witnessed some really weird stuff going on in the house, and her roommates were gone, and I felt this terrible feeling when I just like was in a room like the living room there, and said some stuff and was like, "You're not welcome here," and read some Bible verses.
Who invited
and
you?
was like, "Jesus hates you,"
Oh.
and it left.
Dang.
And I'm dead serious. It did not come back. I kept on asking her, and sometimes I still ask. I mean, I think she moved out of that house. It's been a long time now, but I asked over like that next year. I was like, "Have you had any issues?" And she never had an issue again, when it was like almost a daily occurrence before that. So that is my story of a demon being in a home, not in a person.
Jeez.
So this is a very different situation, because all of a sudden this person's feelings are getting in the way, because I can't go up to a person and say, "Get out! Get out of there! Run while you can!" I can't do that. Jesus hates
What are
you.
you
I can't say
doing?
that to a person. If I've learned anything in my walk of faith, is that you don't walk up to people and tell them Jesus hates them. So
goes
So
to
what
a
is the
Christian
polite
school
way?
just to learn. Okay, Jesus loves all of us, but Jesus,
if they have a demon in them, Jesus hates them.
So like, technically, if I think there's a demon in them, I'm not in the wrong.
Well, yeah, and the core concept is that we're not telling the person that Jesus hates them, but Jesus does not like demons.
Jesus hates
He
you.
wants
Hey,
them
that's
out.
so mean. Sorry, I was just talking to the demon inside.
I was just talking to the demon in you. I was talking to the other horrible person here. Yeah. Sorry, I was just talking to the demon inside you. Oh, okay. Yeah. How do you politely tell a person they have a demon inside them, Zane?
I think this is pretty straightforward because, as we all know, demons can't tell a lie. It's their one fault.
Oh, yes.
I just made the great mistake of saying it's a demon's one fault. Now, so I don't have a demon in me because I'm making too many errors right now.
Yeah.
If you look at a demon and say you're a demon, they have to say, "Oh shucks, you figured it out. You cracked
Got
the
me,
code."
you goon. Yeah.
So now let's say if it's for a coworker or for a boss or something, and you got to say it in a professional way, you could just be like they say, "Do you make sure you got my paper, or make sure you got your work on my desk by 5, or I need you to stay a little bit longer to get this done." You could say, "What, riding my back like this? I was gonna go catch my kid's ball game. Oh man, that you're really pulling a move here. You're a real demon right now." And they gotta say, "Well, how'd you know?"
Well, how'd you know? If a demon had an accent, what would it have? What accent would it be? If every demon had to have the same accent?
It would sound like John Malkovich. Every single one.
Yeah.
How did you figure it out? How did you know that I was a demon? How... I've been keeping it under wraps for so long. How did you know?
Yeah. I like to think it's kind of like Slimer, I think they sound a little bit like Slimer. Just in general. That's all I have to say.
Good.
You keep going.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I like the idea of, just like you're talking and somebody's like, "Hey, I need you to stay late for work tonight." And it's like, "Oh, man, my kid's baseball game. I haven't seen my wife in 6 months. Oh, man." You also have a demon inside you, and they start writhing, because you got them.
Gotcha.
You nailed it. I think that's the way you do it. You catch them in the act of being demonic.
Hard zoom on your face.
And
Gotcha,
nerd. Yeah.
Yeah, demon, you little nerd.
You stupid nerd.
Stupid nerd of a demon thinking he can get away with being a demon. What are you, some kind of nerd?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. These are all good things. I think just sprinkling it within the sentence, since they can't lie, is just like, "Hey, so weather's good, snowing real bad. I got 3 inches today. You're a demon." Like that's how you do that. And they'll start writhing. I think they'll foaming at the mouth, sort of spitting up the demon.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if it's like a friend, you can be more casual with it. Like I said, they can't lie. So just so you can throw it out there and see how they react. Like, you're just sitting with a friend, you're chilling, you could just say, "So Satan's pretty cool, right?" And they just gotta look you in the face,
and they'll look at you, and they'll look at you for a while, and you say, "Answer the question, Joshua." Like, is he cool?
And they just be like, "Oh yeah," and they'll be like, "Oh, dang it, that's such a demon thing to say."
I was really hoping you'd say no, honestly. If I'm gonna be honest, I was hoping you'd say no. Yeah. You didn't get that far, but when you do, tell him Jesus hates him. Yeah, one last question for us then, if that's all right. This question comes from Apricot Dream Smasher.
Good.
And they ask, how does one reach positive / attractiveness levels that Zane has?
What?
You want me to say that again?
No.
Okay. How does one... This is an anonymous user who gave a username saying, how does one reach positive / attractiveness levels of Zane?
What the hell?
This is a real question sent in to us from an anonymous user.
Well, thank you, but what? How do you do this? You faint and you fall face first and you lose half your teeth.
No, and I think that you're not understanding, Zane. I think it's all kind of wrapped into one. Because there have been many times here, because Zane and I do not live in the same town. We live on opposite sides of the country.
Yeah, opposite Minnesota all the way to Boston.
Middle to right side, yeah. Where I will say, my friend Zane, and I'll be saying, he's such a good dude. He's one of the most positive dudes I know. And man, is he hot. And I'll show a picture. And if I hadn't prefaced that he is positive person, they'll say, yeah, I guess so. But if I'll say how positive he is in the first place, they'll say, as long as if he's positive, that's a very hot man, you know? And I'm saying this in a very joking manner, and Zane is just like blushing like a schoolgirl right now.
I don't know what to make of this question.
Zane, how do you reach the positivity levels that you have?
I don't know if I'm supposed to give a real or joking answer.
I want you to do what your heart desires.
My heart desires a Digiorno pizza.
Afterwards, my friend, I will send you a Digiorno pizza.
If you want to be as positive as I am all the time, being an optimist means that you're hopeful that things will get better all the time. So you just have to be constantly okay with being depressed that things aren't as good as you want them to be.
Whoa.
It's a very real but very sad question. No optimist is genuinely always happy on the inside.
Sure, nobody's always happy on the inside.
But it's just that you have to be always happy with the concept of being unhappy.
You have to be happy with the concept of possibly being unhappy.
Yeah, and I know it sounds really weird, but like I'd mentioned, if you haven't listened to every single episode, like in the last episode I had fainted and I lost my teeth and I was in the hospital and things like that, but I was cracking jokes the whole time. And
I think that's where this question sparked from. That was the idea that people, whoever Apricot Dream Smasher is, asked and sent in response to hearing about you fainting, losing teeth, and then being like cracking jokes and asking people to film you minutes after it happening before being sent to the hospital. And in lieu of that, they're asking, how does he stay so positive?
It's because like, if emotion's just a state of mind, it all comes down to you just reminding yourself that literally any emotion that you feel is and can be just temporary. So, like, if you want to be sad or angry about the fact that you lost teeth, that's fine. Or you can realize that it's a problem that's going to be fixed, go away with, or something you can get used to eventually, and so you can just start making the most of the moment instead. So, I could have sat there on the ground after fainting and losing my teeth and been like, damn it, at 21 years old, I've already lost real grown-up teeth. Or I could instead start making jokes because at some point I'm going to look normal again and have teeth again, and instead take advantage of the moment, which sounds like a weird thing to take advantage of, but it's something that is just like any other moment, not something that I'm going to be able to experience on the same level or in the same way ever again. There's a realist perspective inside every optimistic mind. It's just that the optimist gets to the positive outcome quicker.
Dang. Quote that.
That whole thing?
No, I mean, I just thought that was great. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you got that moment, Zane. Okay. So then I think that the second half here, I don't even know if I want to get to the second half.
Yeah.
After that inspirational.
Hit me with the second half.
The second half is, how do I reach the attractiveness level of Zane? And maybe this comes from, I have always known Zane to be a person that behind his back or in front of his back. No, not in front of him. Had like Zane, you've always had girls just like wanting to date, and you really haven't dated very much.
That's just not true.
No, it is. I've literally had so many conversations behind your back of girls talking about how attractive you are.
Why did no one ever tell me that?
And I'm not saying this as like a newsflash sort of thing. Clearly, this question asker thinks you're attractive, but I think a huge portion of that, and the reason that I've been friends with you this whole time, and the reason I haven't been friends with some of the people who I was friends with in high school, is not because you're attractive, but because I'm attracted to your positivity, just in a social attraction sort of way. And so I think that basically you've already answered it in the way of, if you can be that positive, you're going to be a person that other people want to be around, is what I'm kind of catching here.
That's very
true. And what I'm understanding. And you're sexy, Zane. So thank you guys for getting this far. This is the end of our podcast. My name is Will.
My name is the sexiest of Zanes.
The sexiest of Zanes. This is Save Your Bacon. Guys, remember to take it easy, and if it's easy, take it twice. Have a great night.